Today is your second Virginia Woolf's Diary episode. Um, I get really excited about today's episode. It sounds maybe a bit cruel, but I was excited because I saw that VW had an episode, which means she kind of plunged herself in insanity a little bit more than usual. I guess, is her second brush with insanity, and I'm just really curious to know how it happened, to be honest. Her last diary entry for 1915 was February 15th. Then the diaries just stop. Um, Unfortunately, we don't really get to find out, like, exactly what happened or why she slipped. We do get a little bit of an explanation from the Bells, who put Quentin Bell and his daughter put this collection of diaries together. I think it was mainly his daughter, but he did the introduction to the diary. But that's about it. I mean, I'll read a little bit of it, though, just to give you an idea of what's going on. So this is written by Anne Olivier Quentin Bell. Not really sure how to pronounce that. But she says, sorry if this is kind of long, this part of Virginia Woolf's diary is kind of a... Crap. I just started reading the wrong one. I apologize. Let me find it. Okay, sorry about that. The last entry made by Virginia Woolf in 1915 was that of February 15th. On the 17th, she had an appointment with a dentist. Then she and Leonard went to Farrington Street about a printing press. Hogarth printing press. The next day, she had a headache, and then from then onwards, with increasingly sleepless nights and restless, aching days, she slid into madness. By the 4th of March, she was beyond Leonard's care, and professional nurses were called in. Leonard took possession of Hogarth House on quarter day, March 25th, 1915, and Virginia was brought there a week later. Weeks passed, during which she was incoherent, excited, and violent. For many months more, she was under constant surveillance. She took against Leonard, and for 2 months he dared not see her. It seemed that she might never return to sanity. But gradually in June she began to improve, and in November the last nurse could leave. Alternating between Hogarth House and Asham House in Sussex, which she had rented since before her marriage, Virginia very slowly returned to normal life, shaken, older-looking, and heavier. For a long time there was no question of her writing at all, and then she was rationed, as it was thought to excite her. So basically they wouldn't let her write. The diary she had broken off in 1915 seems to have been forgotten. In the spring of 1917, the Woolfs at last bought their printing press. Yay! After producing their publication #1 that summer, they returned to Asham, and Virginia began a journal which, though of a rather different character to her previous and subsequent ones, is included here. The Asham Diary is a small notebook. The date is written on the verso page, blah, 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 blah. So, we get a little bit of an insight. Not a ton. But after that, her diary entries were, like, shorter and choppier from the year before. Which, they were a little bit longer. I mean, they were still the kind of, the format of, this is what I did today, this is how I felt about it. But they had a little bit of, like, depth to them. What I noticed now is that they don't. I'll just read a little bit of one. Came to Asham, walked from Lewes, stopped raining for the first time since Sunday, mending the wall and roof at Asham. Will has dug up the bed in front, leaving only Dahlia, bees in attic, chimney. I mean, and that's a diary entry. Not very interesting reading, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of boring. Most of her entries don't seem to exceed 4 sentences. It makes me wonder, though, if maybe that was because they wouldn't let her write, or if she was just not really in the mood, but knew she should. I just really want to know what was going on in her mind, when she was writing these very dry journal entries. Was there something a little bit more pressing, but she didn't feel like writing about it, or she was trying to get it out of her mind, so she thought maybe writing it down would just really push it forward. I don't know, but I don't know why. I don't think it would, in my case, I don't think I would even write at all if I wasn't allowed to write something of at least some substance. But she's a writer, so. Well, this kind of short entry lasts about a month, and then the entries start to get longer. But they are definitely not as full as they were in 1915. And then by about October, they are back to the original format for the most part. Still discussing the day's events, but less choppy and a bit more toned. Another interesting thing that starts to happen is VW starts to write about the war. Not a lot, and most of the times just things like no air raid today, or we passed by German soldiers that were taken prisoner, that sort of thing. I really would like to hear more, but I suppose the war didn't affect her personally, although I do think the Bells may have mentioned that her brother was in the army, or her brother-in-law was in the army. That's something I should look into, but we're out of time for today, so I will see you next time. Thank you.